So Twitter has launched Spaces, which is an audio platform that rivals Clubhouse. Facebook has clearly communicated that it's creating its own set of audio features. And now LinkedIn has also announced that it's creating its own rival to Clubhouse. For those of you who have not used Clubhouse, it's an audio social network where you just log in and you get to listen to certain topics. So you find a topic of interest of somebody in your network speaking about, and you listen in. And if you're using Clubhouse and you've been liking it or not, if you can let me know in the comments or in private message. The same for Twitter Spaces. I'm looking at this from a business audio perspective, right? So it's convenient because you can do more than one thing at once, right? So you're driving somewhere, you're walking the dog, you're faking that we're taking care of our kids, or we're in a very boring social setting for lunch or dinner or something like this. So I've been using Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. I've been trying to use it on a daily basis. And I find in both that the discoverability aspect can use some improvement. So I haven't been able to find easily. So what I do is I show up and say, now I want to listen to some audio. I'm going to give it 15, 20 minutes while I do something else. And I want to listen to something good. And that part of me giving it time, that 20 minutes on my schedule, I don't always get to find the topics that are of interest to me. So this is why I feel discoverability is something that can be improved in both, and both are definitely working on improving that. So the video we saw is a preview of the Facebook's audio-centric features. Apple's podcast and music platform are immensely popular, especially the podcast part. However, Facebook and Apple now are currently on a break. Think Ross and Rachel. The Spotify partnership, that's why it came first before the Apple aspect. One thing in particular that I like is you can continue to browse your newsfeed with audio playing in the background. Facebook wins because it gets us to spend much more time within the newsfeed, which is a parameter they work on influencing always. Spotify wins because it gets us to increase listening time, and people use more and more of their content, and more people will discover their content, and the duration of the listens will be more as well. I personally listen to music every day. There's not almost every day, it's every day. It's when I'm working, when I'm walking to work, to and back from work, or when I'm focusing, like now working on the show today, just half an hour before, I still had a few things that I have not prepared yet. I had to turn on some loud music for me to focus on the work that I need to do. So that's something I focus on a lot, and that's why I'm paying attention a lot to the music and the audio. And I also feel bad for a lot of my friends who were with me in college, and we enjoyed music a lot, whether in private sessions or in events and concerts that we used to go to. But as we grew older and our responsibilities grew, that particular aspect of music has dropped. I don't see them, listening to a lot of it like they used to before, or a lot of them just dropped it out of their day-to-day. I wish you music in your homes and in your work. So that's a personal wish to you. Now, moving on to what we are teaching our kids.
The one, the only, it's DJ Michelle. If I lived next door, I'd be like, will you turn that music down? I'm trying to sleep here. I don't care.
I'll be singing and playing the bass.
And the walls are like shaking.
Yeah.
Mummy or daddy? Who has the smelliest feet?
I don't know.
Don't make you smell them. I will make you smell them.
I'm a princess. I'm a cool princess.
Blue
What?
So parents, what are you and I teaching our kids that is of global competition level? So I came across an article that talks about a 9-year-old DJ based in Dubai. She competed at a global competition and she ranked 14th. Her dad ranked 9th. So that's on a global level. And I look at this and I think, what are we doing, right? So there was also another DJ, Fatboy Slim, as well, if you're into electronic music. His daughter as well has her own performances. She has her own lives and so on. Because kids absorb from us consciously or subconsciously. And these are examples of two young females, right? So they're females, they're young, and they're already competing globally. So the question I ask myself out loud, and I ask you as parents, is what am I passing on to my kids that is of global gargantuan proportions? Yes, I know that long term it will play out, and they'll hopefully be citizens of the world, contributing to themselves, the society, and family. And I know that happens when they're older. But my question is like now, today, what are we doing that is of a global aspect? I'm not saying they need to be DJs or gamers or mathematicians or chess geniuses or swim champions. I'm not saying that. What I'm just saying is I feel there needs to be some form of skill set that they can acquire now comfortably, now that they have the immense amount of time, where they can go into that skill. Because as adults, we're juggling a bunch of different things at the same time. So our idle time is very, very short, and usually when we have it, we're too tired to do anything. We'd rather sit down on TV and vegetate while we watch reruns of Ross and Rachel's breakup. So now that they're at this young age, I think we can do much more with them on this. I don't know how, I don't know what. I'm not trying to preach here or to tell you what to do, but I feel with their idle time, there's much more for us to do. So tell me in the comments if you're doing something, or if you have ideas for doing something, or you want to share the parental guilt. Do that in the comments or via private message.
Now that vaccines are starting to roll out, let's start talking about going back to the office. How are we all feeling about that? Oh, that's great news. Full time? Doesn't work for you? No. Can't wait to be back. How long do we have?
Can't take me away from you.
We have an office.
So are you returning to your office or not yet? Let me know. Changes I've been noticing in office spaces, because office spaces, they're physical, where the physical flow in the office would need to be modified. How we're sitting, how we come in and out, the distances, and so on. So changes I've been seeing is simple things, right? So doors for offices and toilets and so on, they have footrests. So you, instead of using handles, you step on the footrest and you can open and close the door. So that is something that I'm seeing more of, and it's not very costly for businesses to include. Also, conference rooms, I see that they're being equipped with better screens, better audio, better video, because a lot of the meetings will continue to be online. So even if you're coming back to the office, others are online, whether other people that you're servicing or other customers or other offices or even members of your own staff. So I'm seeing more and more of setups that are nicely done, especially in a group format. In a group format, it's always difficult. You have somebody who's far from the mic or who is trying to say something and so on. So I'm seeing much more setups that can cater to a conference room setup where multiple people are speaking. And I'm also seeing wider tables for a better social distancing. So of course, your office needs to afford that space and that type of equipment, but there are many small changes that can be done. Also, what I'm seeing others do is, because not everybody's going to be coming back to the office, they've been using shared desks, and that you book in advance, and then they're giving lockers to people. So let's say I'm using my shared desk today, and I might come in 2 days. I can store a bunch of stuff in my locker, and this way the sanitization can go on. My stuff is not there on the table, so they can sanitize properly and thoroughly. So it makes it easier from that perspective. It's going to be hybrid for a while. I think let's start to guess. I think end of 2022, we're going to be in a much, much better position than where we are today. We all thought it was going to take us maybe a year. Obviously, we're more than a year now, but end of 2022, things are going much different than what we are today, and also to resemble a lot of the past that we had. And of course, a lot of us have learned to work from home amidst the chaos that we have in our homes and our families, and we like it. Some of us have special situations where we have somebody to take care of at home, and it's much more convenient to do so. So we'll be asking for, you know what, I'm not going back to the office. Let's talk about me staying there. Or other models look like coming in a couple of days a week, and others not. So we're looking permanently like this. So those are different models that are there. But I think things will stabilize by 2022, and we'll know what it will look like.